Alright guys, how you doing? I'm Rabea.
Dave.
And Dave is back in my humble abode today to check out some brand new pedals from Darkglass.
Yep, this is that time of the year where I turn up and overtake the channel a little bit. And
It's always a pleasure.
talk to you about bass stuff, which hopefully you guys love and care about.
Well, hopefully a lot of you guys are in bands, and in bands there are bass players. And, you know, I think it's fair to say that Darkglass have really made a huge mark in the bass market in the last 5-10 years.
They have. I think they're, you know, there's in the bass community, particularly in like our kind of genre, I guess, of the sort of heavier stuff. There's just not been a lot of like developments from a lot of companies. You know, people doing stuff that's different and tailoring it towards sort of modern music, I guess, and that's kind of what Darkglass have come in and done. And yeah, they're creating pedals that are kind of actually designed with modern music in mind.
Yeah, and it's fair to say that modern music as well, it seems like the reintroduction of mid-range happened in both guitar and bass.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I like the most about the Darkglass stuff, is the amount of control over the mid-range.
Yeah.
And we've done countless demos on here with Darkglass stuff. Like we've done the amplifier, we've done the vintage Ultra, we've done the
V3K, V7K.
Quite a lot.
Yeah. All sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And the Alpha. Did we do an Alpha?
We've done an Alpha Omega.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is brand new, and I think it's been in production, or at least development, for quite a while, hasn't it?
It has.
I'm sure you know more about this than I do, because you've been to Darkglass HQ in Finland and stuff.
Yes. A very interesting place. I should also apologise just in case my voice cuts out. I'm getting over some kind of throat infection, so that just as a...
White noise Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, if any amount of white noise comes up in this video, Dave will disappear. But yeah, basically we're looking at, well, the Microtubes X7 and the Microtubes X.
Yeah.
So do you want to give us a once-over about what they do?
Yeah, effectively they are multi-band distortions.
Okay.
And obviously the X evidently is much smaller and more affordable, and so takes up less space on the pedal board, has less things to be messing around with and potentially screw up the sound, and obviously it's a bit cheaper as well. So, but they're effectively the same idea, and it's this multi-band drive. So with sort of a lot of the recording techniques that have been used for recording bass, and particularly in modern music, it's stuff that we've done on Toska and Dorje records and stuff, is to split the bass signal into at least two paths. One where we put a low pass, so that's cutting out all of the high end, so you've just got the sort of warm subby low end going on, and then you compress the hell out of it, and then so you compress the hell out of that low end, so that it's got basically no dynamic range, and it's just like a thick subby layer at the bottom of the mix. And we do this live as well when we've got our sound engineer James, and normally what we'll do then is we'll have a sidechain compressor to that signal to duck that from the kick drum, so that you're constantly got this nice layer of low end, and the bass kind of ducks out of the way and makes room for the kick drum, so that stays nice and punchy. So you've got that aspect on this pedal, and then what you've got is the other thing that we do in the production, which is then have your sort of affected sound, be it drive or crunch or, you know, chorus or whatever it is, separate to that, and you blend the two levels together. So this has got a high pass and a low pass, and it has a compressor built in on the low pass, and it's got the drive section built in on the high pass, and then we've got a nice EQ as well after the fact, so that you can kind of, and you've got two levels as well, so you can kind of blend the level of the low compression and the high distortion, and then do an overall compression and master.
It's genius, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good idea, and really, I mean, it's not like it's a new concept. It's a really popular thing to do with bass, but it's something that only really ever occurs in the studio, and if you've got a good front of house engineer, maybe they'll do it as well. But this way you can actually do it yourself, fine-tune it yourself, and take it into the studio or on the stage or at rehearsal, and have all of that sound tailored to yourself. So.
And presumably you can split these outputs as well when you're recording, so that you can actually have control over each of them.
On the X7, you've got a parallel out, which is just a complete clean version anyway, and then you've got a DI output, which will be post whatever you've done to it. So it's less of a splitting the output of the two.
It's doing
sections.
it in-house.
There's basically the ways to do it yourself on the computer as well. So,
but in the Microtubes X case, you don't have, like, what's the difference really? You can see quite clearly. Yeah. Like there's a lot less going on.
There is. So obviously there's no sort of graphic EQ going on. I also don't think there's any compression.
Okay.
And rather than having two levels, you've just basically got a mix knob, so that you can kind of blend how much. Like a
crossover of control.
But the essence is still the same, which is to keep that low end nice and clean and unaffected, and then have all of the drive on the high end stuff, because obviously low frequencies are very big waveforms, and when you start crushing and distorting all of those, it can get a bit uncontrollable. You end up with speakers bottoming out and you don't get a very clear and controlled distortion. So this still allows you to effectively do that, choose what point you want to have all the low end come through, and have that nice and clean, and then use the mix knob to blend how much of that you want in with the affected distorted.
Cool. So really, I think in this video we'll be focusing more on the X7 because of the variation of features, but obviously we'll plug into this towards the end of the video and just show you what it sounds like as well. Yeah. But essentially it's the same sort of tone, but just a lot of a simpler functionality.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you're loving the sound of this pedal and you haven't got the money to invest right now in the X7, then the X is a good option. And if you've got lots of pedals on your pedal board and you're conscious about taking up too much space, then again the Microtubes X is a really good shout, because you're going to get all the same kind of tone without the footprint, and also you may well have your own sort of compressors and things that you might want to use regardless. So
it's also worth mentioning that Darkglass always do such a fine job of the visuals. Like,
they do.
They're all made in Finland, as you can see, nice big serial number. Just the way they present their products, I just love it.
Even the packaging as well. Yeah, it's an experience.
It is. They're taking a leaf out of Apple's book, it seems.
Yeah.
Right, I'll pop that over there for now.
Cool.
Signal chain, obviously Dave is going through the X7. We're hitting the Universal Audio Apollo 8P, and we're using a UAD 610B preamp in unison.
Yeah.
Just to
and
give it a bit of coloration.
I believe this might even be the first video that I've actually done.
Was it?
This bass, which is appalling.
Dave's signature bass.
It is. This is my signature bass, Chapman, and
I love it.
Yeah, it has changed somewhat since some of the videos from Nan and stuff like that. So this is not an active bass, which some people will think it is because it was going to be.
Yeah.
But in the end, I went passive and Barcelona pickups, jazz pickups. So it's not like loads of power. It's just like a blend and a tone and a volume and passive. So just so that you know, there's no crazy electronics going on from the bass hyping anything up. It's all quite flat and neutral.
Cool. All right then. Well, we should start by showing you the signal without the pedal engaged.
Yep.
It's a very nice sound. We've 12'd everything except for the master, which we've brought down, so we've got a bit of headroom to play with the sound, of course.
Yeah.
So I guess what I will do is just mess around. I suppose, in fact, before we just start messing around with tones, we should demonstrate the whole concept of the whole crossover of tone.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll start by turning down the high level, and so that all we're going to be hearing is that low end. And then you can play around with the low pass knob to choose how much low I'm going to let through, and then we'll play around with the compression knob and choose how much we're going to slam it by, basically.
Okay.
And then we'll do the same with the high, and then we'll get a nice blend of the two.
Sweet. So I've taken compression off as well.
Cool.
So this is just uncompressed low end.
Cool.
hopefully you can hear there how this little knob at the left is controlling the area, the frequency of the low pass. So obviously right at the top you've got is it 500? It is 500, and then you've got 250, and then you go down to 50 hertz, obviously, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good, especially for you, because you have quite a specific sort of pronounced low, mid, and mid range in your bass tone.
Yeah.
And it means you can proper pinpoint it, slam it if you need to. And again, that was cool because you were playing dynamically.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, obviously it wasn't particularly interesting bass to listen to, but trying to just give it an example of what the compression was doing there. Hopefully you heard that when I was digging in, when the compression was off, you could hear a big difference. And then obviously as we started slamming it, then you lose all of that dynamic range and it all just becomes the same volume.
Yeah.
But it didn't sound too like swelly or anything.
No.
So it's quite a nice compression.
It wasn't uncontrollable.
So
we should try the high end now. So I'm going to take the low level right down, and we'll put this one up to 12. And then obviously on the right hand side, that's where you can control the high pass.
Yep. Do you want to take drive down or?
Yeah, I tell you what, we should do that. Yeah. So, again, massive control over that area.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose this is an odd way to try and listen to the zone, because at the moment we're listening to isolated bits like you do when you're recording. You zoom into little frequency areas, dial in the sort of sound that you want, and then move on, and then the bigger picture happens later.
Oh, totally. So
right now it might sound a bit like this pedal's crap, and but really the fun starts happening from this point on. Really.
Yeah, we're demonstrating the fact that you can pinpoint the exact type of low end you want and the exact type of high end you want, and then now we can blend them together and then add distortion.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
Yeah.
So that's what I guess we should do. Seeing as we're on high end, we may as well start there.
Yeah.
So immediately when you put the two together and then just blend in some drive, then you end up with like a full range kind of tone.
Yeah.
Full flat.
So at this point, this is where we can start using the EQ, the graphic EQ on the front there, and just try and fine tune the overall sound and get the two working together. Because I guess there's likely to be a bit of phase reinforcement and phase cancellation depending on where you've set your two crossover points. And also you want to tune the actual sound of the bass a little bit. So maybe have a play around with that and see how powerful that is, see what we can do with it.
The cool thing I want to say is that in a recording application, if you write at home, like I do a lot with demo songs and all that kind of stuff, a pedal like this is so useful because I'm a guitar player, and so my first priority is getting the guitar tone and then fitting the bass around that.
Yeah.
And so with something like this, you really can fit it around without actually having to jump in and use, in post and start messing around with EQs to get that. You can do that first. So that's really, really refreshing for me as a guitar player in a bass video. Anyway, far left is your master of the whole pedal. Then we've got low end, which I'm assuming is a low pass kind of...
It's a shelf.
Yeah, it's a low shelf, right?
So shelf, again, is... Whereas a low pass cuts off everything, past that point. The low shelf is just like
it just takes the whole thing and pushes it
up or down from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then low shelf, then you've got 500 hertz, then 1 kilohertz, and then a high shelf.
Yeah.
So what's cool is, although you can achieve those frequencies with both the low pass and the high pass, then when you get it all together in the crossover, right, then you can just actually affect the whole signal.
It might be that you want the level of clean bass from the low compressed thing, but then obviously because it's compressed, it might be a bit loud, and you want the bass to stay clean, but it's just got a bit too much low end because maybe you got high output pickups, humbuckers or something like that. So the low shelf, you can obviously bring that down a bit.
Just control it all.
And I've been guilty of this a couple of times with things like high shelves. When you get on stage and sound check and you realise that you really should have changed your strings, and you're like, it sounds really dull.
Yeah.
Just push up that little high
Push
shelf.
up the high shelf.
That'll get me through the gig.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Well, let's try it out. I mean, that, I don't know if this pedal's aimed to do other things outside of drive, but you could get a pretty decent slap tone out of it too.
Yeah, well, again, I think because there's the ability to play around with the shelving and the compression, you can kind of get, obviously it is a drive pedal, but letting more of that low end through into the high circuit, into the high gain circuit, is going to get a bit more fuzzy and gnarly, and obviously as you back that away, it'll get a bit sharper and more detailed, and then as you back off the actual drive from there, you can just kind of get a crunch really. And then with the compression as well, for actually, as we were just doing then, dialing it back a bit and softening the whole thing, scooping out the mids a bit, you can get quite a good kind of compressed slap sound. So
nice.
It's cool.
So at this point, we should probably move over to the Microtubes X.
Yep.
Because we've kind of gone over what this can do. One question I did have was, do you see yourself using this on your pedal board? That's a tough question.
It is. I'm going to wait because there's another pedal that I want to check out from Darkglass.
Oh, really?
And see what that does.
Okay.
But yes, I think possibly. And I think for me, again, because we do that live anyway, it could be, I'm going to have a day, I think, where I dismantle my pedal board and play, because there's so many pedals.
Yeah.
And obviously with the new basses as well, I think it's a good opportunity to have a bit of a reset, but I think there's a very good chance that this could end up on my pedal board, yeah.
Awesome. Right, let's move on to the Microtubes X. Okay, we have Microtubes X.
We do indeed.
Rigged up. We already told you what it does, so we may as well just get straight into it. Although it's a different operation to the other one.
So again, rather than having your high level and a low level, you've just got this mix knob at the bottom, and you've still got your low pass and high pass. You also have a high mid rather than having all of the EQ.
Nice.
Sorry, it's not a high mid, it's just a mid. Rather than having the EQ, just so you can kind of generally push the mids or scoop the mids. So it's just a bit of an easier kind of like tuned knob, just to kind of quickly change that sound.
Right, well, I'm going to take the level down first because we have no idea where this is going to come in at. I mean, I would say from my interaction with both pedals, for me, I find it easier to dial in a tone, probably because there's more options. Because the X7, obviously, when there's so much going on, I can basically, I find this one easier to get a tone. Not that it sounds the same, but I find you have to know a little bit more. I think you need to be more of a bass player that's used pedals like this before to really just quickly do it, because I was like...
Well, let's guess. Without playing it, I'll just have a see.
Okay.
So... I'll go like...
It's guess time with Dave.
It is.
Pretty filthy.
Yeah.
It's pretty filthy.
It is.
Dave likes filth. But I mean, for me, and that's probably because I'm a guitarist, I want to hear more mids. So I'd push the mid range up. Try it now, just out of my curiosity. I like the way that it makes the bass do the gnarly thing.
I wasn't quite sure what mid frequency that was going to be. I didn't want to be pushing like 500 hertz.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's more of a high mid.
Yeah.
Like 500 hertz. It sounds closer to like a 2K or something.
But the thing about this is, I think this is more grab and go, plug and play, just crack on with a tone. Yeah. And if you do know about the whole crossover thing, it's nice and easy for you to do, which is nice, and it's more affordable as well. So it's always a good thing.
That is. So, I guess that's basically it, isn't it?
That's basically the Microtubes X and the Microtubes X7 placed in this beautiful little photography booth that Dave decided to bring down so you can all see it in its LED lit glory.
Indeed.
So the Microtubes X is $199. And the Microtubes X7 is $289.
Both, I think, good prices, but
They are
I
good
think
prices.
Microtubes X is a stunning pedal for that kind of price, really, isn't it?
200 bish, I think, and being able to do that kind of thing with your bass tone. And again, this is just one pedal. So most bass players, when they, like, even for you, like, you like to blend different pedals and all that kind of stuff to get your tone. And it feels like it caters for a lot of those needs in one pedal. So for 200 quid, and for an extra, well, 289, so you're talking not even 100 quid more.
No.
And you're getting
quite a lot more.
All this as well. So, yeah, Darkglass.
Definitely worth checking out, I think. Head down to your local retailer.
They're available at Anderton's and all other retailers. We like Anderton's, of course.
We do. Rush City, if you're in America.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Darkglass, for sending these over. Doug for being an absolute legend, Franco.
He is.
And yeah, I've been Rabea.
Dave.
Take it easy.